I was at the same time looking forward to and dreading visiting the heads at the mouth of the Knysna Lagoon. The view is spectacular, and I love looking out to the wilderness of the ocean on the one side and the calmness of the lagoon. On the other hand, I knew the only way to get to the top of the heads is either a steep climb that some in our party could not do, or a very narrow, winding road. I am sure the residents who encountered me on that narrow, winding road up to the heads cursed me out thoroughly as I pulled over as close to the side of the road as I dared, not being entirely sure where my car ended on that side, and then came to a practical standstill and let them do the hard work of actually passing me. Not my favorite drive of the trip. But afterwards, I felt like I could take on anything the South African roads could throw at me. Until we got to the Eastern Cape, that is. Then I realized how spoiled I had become driving in the Western Cape. Luckily, I had done my research and knew where to find the parking, because I would have hated having to drive around up on top of the heads on those tiny roads trying to turn around. Once on the top, after a short walk through a combination of the native plants and suburban gardens, we arrived at the lookout, and it was even better than I remembered. The view from the Knysna Heads are truly unique. There are other lagoons. There are other estuaries. There are plenty of other rivers that reach the ocean between rocky outcroppings and cliffs. But this is the one place where all of it combines, and spectacularly so. In 1817, George Rex, a settler in Knysna who saw much potential in the lumber industry, convinced the Cape government to send a ship to survey the Knysna estuary. He had been settled in the area since 1802. This ship was called the Emu, and the Emu very soon became a victim of the passage between the two Knysna Heads as she floundered while trying to enter. It is possible to enter the estuary between the heads, but you need to know what you're doing. You need to know that the passage runs diagonally across the entrance from close to the western head to Fountain Point on the eastern head. And the navigable channel is not very wide. In places only about 90 meters. For sailing ships, entering this narrow channel combined with needing both favorable winds and high tide. So entering the Knysna Lagoon has never been for the faint of heart or ill-prepared. Even today, with modern equipment and strong boat engines, the heads are not to be trifled with. While we were on the heads, we were lucky enough to see a small fishing boat enter the lagoon. These days, most of the boats that enter are recreational. If you look very carefully, you can see the fishermen throwing out their lines and then reeling them in, all while entering the lagoon. It is a bit surreal leaving the heights of the heads and then driving along the very flat mud flats. It might seem like the vertical and the spectacular is more important, but for the animals of the lagoon, this part is actually the most important, and this is why there's such an abundance of birds in the area. If you want small bird photos eventually, please subscribe to my channel. It costs you nothing, but hopefully, somewhere in the future, I will be able to monetize and buy a nice camera.